know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now the Lambo has pigtails. Since you getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there, I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care, so I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day, what the no tuck. Sway Lee, Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on, dipped in colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in, it all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a 10. I'm coming clean though. I mean, not a spec. My girl be serving looks.
The Colts pick is in. Adam, give us the rundown.
He's a durable lineman who set a team record for consecutive starts, never missing a game throughout a decorated 4-year college career. Ross Tucker praised his footwork leading up to the Combine, where he did not disappoint, solidifying his position as the draft's top offensive line prospect. He has the potential to be the cornerstone of this offensive line for years to come and should provide consistent protection for a franchise quarterback. This is a great pick.
Love the kicks and we love the hits.
The Jets are now on the clock.
If I sleep, I'm a record. I'm in my own world. Throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing tether on leather. Money talk, it's a lecture. 80-pointers dance on me, it's electric. Don't hate, I'm still unaffected. Chipper on my shoulder, I move undetected. She said pop the question got deflected. Man, that made my boy, then my brethren. Let's cut to the chase.
Now that the Jets have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
His pro day was a chance to separate himself from the rest of the tailbacks in this class. After running the 40 in under 4.5 seconds and pushing almost 20 reps on the bench, I think he got what he wanted. Following that demonstration of physical ability, he transitioned into passing drills. One of the scouts in attendance told me he looked sharp on his routes and comfortable making catches away from his body. Personally, I think he made a strong case for being declared an every-down workhorse. Teams often have several running backs specialize in different areas of the scheme, but he's the type who can do it all. I like what he brings to this offense and look forward to seeing what he does.
Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage. And on me, you should get a raise. On me, yeah, you can hate.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
You gotta hit the ground. Ain't no chain gonna hold me down. Dig deep, feel the burn. I've got a calling, so I should learn. I heard a voice of this broken hymn saying, "I'm not, this is who I am." I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher, 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 higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets, all I need. Going higher, higher. Feel the flame, hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? No, don't let let it bring you down. Good girl, and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit flow. I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Oh, keep running. Keep
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even and mad. We coming up, pulling up, jumping all over your grass. So tell them I got a new girl. Tell them that I'm begging, I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of living check to check. I need 20 models, this is smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectral deck. Getting, yeah, I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss it, got last on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just skirt off. Blow the speakers and turn up. Pop up. Go to church with my shirt off. Tell the Lord that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long. I've been patient for so long. Breaking rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time. If you don't like me, take a ticket. There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long, I think they lost time. Ooh, you lost. What you mean? Woo! What you mean? Woo! And now I don't trust the so what you mean? Woo! Hold up, whoa, what you mean? Woo! Hold up. Don't know what you think, compare me to. Adrenaline popping up.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Yeah.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
You like it, I love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want all my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I just bought a cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw a hissy fit. Call up Cassie.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
That's a shorty, if she talking, and she gon' call her friends up and we did, whoa. I ain't in the talking, go chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go top 4 for bridge. My black boys, I got boys that knock off your lid. I thought y'all gon' pop off, so hop off my. What you mean? I said, what you mean? Woo! Listen, I don't trust her soul. No, I said, what you mean? Whoa. I said, what you mean? Woo! You thought I was finished, you thought it was over. You thought I retired, you thought I went fishing with Kobe. I'm still as ill as considered as one of the coldest. Still a put a partner rapper here like Moses. I'm throwback like a molar roller. I'm cooler than a cup of yogurt. Black flag boy, truck soldier. I'm cool with laws and ayatollahs. Rap gods like Cyclops and Ogre. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told you. You think road still. And Bobby Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them bad as bad gon' get. What you mean?
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
If you watch some of his tape, you'll forget that he's a quarterback from time to time. That is, until he makes an incredible throw. He's one of the most mobile quarterbacks in this year's class, as evidenced by the fact that he was the team's leading rusher midway through the season. His ability to take off at any point forced defenses to respect the run game, and that opens up the passing game. He's an exciting playmaker to watch on game day, and I'm sure the team's hoping some of that will rub off on it.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's word to my father. I will for my mother. Deal with my brothers.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Don't talk with no. Plus I duck under covers. Gotta stay on this mission. Got a vision that's endless. They told me don't be a menace. They gon' serve me a sentence. But now I'm up in the illest.
Now that he's just been picked, Adam, what can you tell us about Sherman?
He's one of the few receivers in college that no matter what sort of coverage you threw at him, he always came away with the ball. A great example is one of his impressive touchdown catches that has been on highlight reels ever since. It was late in the game, and the defense knew who the quarterback was going to target. He was surrounded by 3 defenders when his quarterback put the ball in the air. And even though he was completely swamped, somehow he managed to pluck the ball right over the defenders' heads. He isn't the biggest receiver, but he has the ability to stretch and make the play, essentially making him a larger and taller target and a real threat in the red zone. I think this team got a possible difference maker at receiver.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
The importance of a lockdown pass defender cannot be emphasized enough, and that's exactly what every GM I talked to described him as. His ability to play physical and to outwork his opposition off the line have also been areas of high praise on his journey to the draft. This skill set could be seen in numerous games this year where he completely shut down some of this draft's top-rated wide receivers. When you're tasked with neutralizing an opponent's number 1 wideout each week, there's a great deal of responsibility to ensure you're not just physically ready, but also mentally ready. This is another important trait the GMs I spoke with mentioned to me that made them so excited about this guy. The hope is that he will quickly learn the playbook, get some solid reps in the preseason, and come week 1, be ready to play.
It's last night, just you and I get lost tonight and lose your mind. I'm it. Squad, 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 I'm it. Squad.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock.
I go out for my squad and I put that on squad.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
Well, he hasn't gotten a lot of attention from the media. His name has been circulating around the front offices the past few weeks. To find out why, I spoke with Matt Miller. He told me his performance at the Combine caused them to go back and look at his game film one more time. And what they found was his team made a scheme change in his final season that forced him to shift to a new role he wasn't exactly comfortable in. To draw a comparison, they looked at his first 3 seasons before the change, and he looked like a much different player. The speed and level he played at matched what they saw him do back at Indy. He rose up draft boards across the league, and they're very lucky to have picked him up before anyone else could.
Got a lot to prove, I owe you that we got. I go gon' look at you different when you moving forward. Show this, but just stick to the code, you get yours.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
He entered the season drawing comparisons to some of the most feared defensive linemen in NFL history after a midseason disappearing act that saw him record just 2 tackles in 5 games. Many scouts were left shaking their heads in disbelief. Even with the growing concern over his lack of production, there were some GMs who felt his poor stat lines were a direct result of the increased focus he began receiving as a result of his hot start. One pointed specifically to reports of offensive coordinators fashioning entire game plans around avoiding him, knowing that his fellow linemen were incapable of picking up his mantle. He'll now have a chance to prove believers right, as he's expected to see significant playing time in the preseason with a line far superior to the one he had in college.
To the code, you get yours, I get mine.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Young Gerald. Yeah. Yeah. Die line with the boom pow. Every week now I switch to a new style. 2 12s in the back just blew out. Everything I do end up in the news now. Yeah. Lead a club with a few now. Just some Hollywood and they do. I'm in the mood now. 2 a.m. What you wanna do now? What you wanna do now? Little baby pass. Don't spill on me. That's Margella. Got this Oakland game to tell her. She look familiar. Like Coachella. What's her name? Isabella. Forget it. Yeah. It's like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Tryna function, got some places we could go. Lot y'all got me speaking.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
I don't GA. You tryna. Yes on yes on yes on yes. Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
The old saying of "what have you done for me lately" could be used to explain his rapid rise in draft value. After a late season performance that saw him make several key blocks leading to scores, sources said that many scouts were willing to overlook otherwise average statistics leading up to his final game. NFL expert Ross Tucker felt that his upside far outweighs any concerns that he's a one-hit wonder. Tucker raved about his natural footwork that he called a quote-unquote gift for someone his size. Patience may be needed to help him grow into his full potential, but this team feels as if it has bolstered its offensive line with this big pick.
You ain't go. Say less.
Sheesh. What you saying, I don't understand. I'm out my mind, I popped. Sheesh. I swear this lock shot got me stuttering. Girl, you I fall in love again. Sheesh. Get it, my favorite rush. You talkative, ain't gotta say too much. Be quiet, who got some grapes, I'm trying to. I'm all ball for these. Get it, not complicated.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Station, get it, not complicated. No conversation, please say less. Please say less.
Please say less. I'm blessed. I don't GA.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less. Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Titans' newest player?
His draft stock took a hit at his pro day when he failed to look natural in any of the drop back and ball reaction drills. As Matt Miller put it, it looked like the sun was in his eyes every time he turned around to look for the ball. Sometimes the receiver would break to the right, but he would go to the left too many times. Think with enough coaching, he can sharpen his ability to play in single coverage. We'll see if he becomes a starter at some point down the line for this team.
The Jets are now on the clock.
But I noticed that she missing all the edges. I run the game just by running with the pro attitude, they got rich calisthenics. Walking in the courtroom sipping on the beverage. I know the judge, so I got a lot of leverage.
The Lions are now on the clock.
This a fetish. Fully loaded on the 7. Your dog did a damn, you never wrote a letter. Still in the box, got a rapping acapella. Kim Trezor, people with the weapon. I got it, boy, don't make me be the devil. He knocking on the door and know the password. Gave me his blessings while I'm hotter than the last verse.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, dead.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Presidents, dead presidents.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
I got that it like Tommy Lee. I make money. On my third passport, and I got at the airport. I got bowling green dollars on my dollars. Busting down 100 in the bathtub. Get some house shoes. I got money. I got war wounds. Get the coaching on that. Ain't no dance moves. I was posted on the stoop, hanging with my Haitians. On the news, on front pages. Ain't no relations. I was stacking being friends and bossing. 2 times in a row, that's a repeat. You end up, cause they easy. I'm in the freezy. She love me like she need me. I got my Maybach flooded out with extra TVs. I make up every single day. I judge a vulture when I flood the Paddock face.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
Like football, rugby's a sport that's played with guys of all shapes and sizes. In his case, he was one of the big guys pushing and pulling blocks in the center of the pitch. He was playing rugby for a university in Australia before he was recruited to transfer and play football for 2 seasons here in America. His first year was spent adjusting to the game, getting used to the different rules and how to play his position properly. The guy even had to adjust how he tackled now that he had to wear pads and a helmet. But his second year is really where we started to see what he could potentially do. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage. The team was able to pick up a good addition to its line with a bit of an interesting history.
16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like a never ride in the extra car. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, dead presidents.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, and born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this with new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just killed this cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work. I know just who you are. See, use it. Your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch. Heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist. Born on side a jellyfish, I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tolerate the front. Like been through, probably offend you. This is Paula's oldest son. I know conviction burners, boosters, ballers, dead, redemption scholars, fathers, kids and I wish I was fed forgiveness. Yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast. My expertise checked out in 2nd grade. When I was 9, on sale motel, we didn't have no.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
So well, hit cartwheel in my estate, and I'm gon' shine.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Extrovert, and excellent mean an extra work, and absentness you hurt, and passiveness never struck my nerve, and that's a riff gonna be this case. The reason my power's here on earth, salute the truth from the prophecy. I got loyalty, got royalty inside
this is
my
why
DNA.
I say that hip-hop has done more damage to young African-Americans in recent years.
I never got my DNA. This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power, the mecca.
Now that the Ravens have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
His college career came to an abrupt end this year when he was suspended from the team. I spoke with the school's athletic director, and he told me it was due to an academic violation. He was on probation and close to failing several courses before the decision was made between the director and his coach. He was able to turn his grades around, but his draft stock took a hit when the news broke. Scouts weren't too bothered by his academic issues, but his lack of playing time made it harder to evaluate him with the rest of his class. And now that he's drafted, I don't think the team is too concerned with his grades either.
These are the times, level number 9. Look up in the sky, tennis on the way, sinners on the way, I got winners on the way.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
A ticket on your plate. You ain't sick enough to pull it on yourself.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
When destruction gonna be my fate, gonna be a fate, gonna be a fate. Peace to the world, let it rotate. Money, DNA.
Like the way it sounds, Frody? Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
About to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you're around with body. And I put that my mommy. I will never give my heart to a rocket. Just make a dance that goes with this song.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Basic, gon' dance to it. Basic, everywhere, gon' dance to it. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, all in it. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that. Shake. I got 2 shows, I'm about to pitch another. Throwing alley-oops to my brothers. We all shine, nobody victims. I'm on these sweatsuits, black pippins. I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you left your fam. I lay on beaches and swerving whips. You ain't serving, you just an urban myth. Every day, get ride around Queens on the jet ski. It's me. Every day, get to the day I die. Every day, get man, I that and I that bouncing up and down. Nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it. Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
The Mexico City Diablos are now on the clock.
So many. Oh my God. So many.
The Browns are now on the clock.
I done made sacrifice.
The Texans are now on the clock.
So
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. What you telling me? I sense the jealousy, I got telepathy, I got the recipe, I got the streets and I don't got no felony. Forward thinking, yeah, my mind is ahead of me. Mama said it's gonna be whatever you let it be. It's some homies I grew up with that's dead to me. It's some that I just met in debt to me. What's in common is they both pay respect to me. I get in my way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving. No text, no call, but at airplane mode. Code, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you living by the same code. G code, leave. You do that to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I'll never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it.
The Saints are now on the clock.
My own time, I done sacrifice my own mind.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
I done sacrifice my little life, but I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, inner me. And
the Cardinals are now on the clock.
I done sacrifice my own mind. I done sacrifice the club life. I done sacrifice my love life.
Also, I done sacrifice the thug life. Diamond shining, ain't no dull light. Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about. Come on, come see. The devil had entered my soul. My mama had beat the die. The devil, my mama. Remember my grandma had told me you better be somebody. Hop in my seats, massaging. Watch how I lead the posse. I made an M deposit.
Paid all these dudes with the game. Sacrifice your strides for that stain.
Sacrifice.
Heard you sacrifice your life for that change. She sacrificed that money for
white.
Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum brum. We up one. Bad, dear savage. Take her to the mall and buy some. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Make way with the time. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People watching, yeah, I gotta skip town, eh? Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I know my great auntie was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice she made. I could only.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
For your entertainment, boy, I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all facts. In the human race, it's all about pacing. Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end, like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice done.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Y'all recognize that we all sacrifice.
Montana.
You know,
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
What up, Pink?
Man.
La música de Harry Fraud.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, bring them things.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Bring them things, looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring
The Bengals are now on the clock.
I bring them things. I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000, this ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce. I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the law Ferrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be maiden. Yes, y'all be aping. I'm Richard Mill Nation. No diamonds, just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Bring them things.
Here's a little story about a kid from Morocco. Had to show Carlito I was Benny Blanco. Check it out. Raindrop, all set. Plug, we the outlet. Shot put me in the box. I'm in the box off. All the face shorty, socks off. Mac Miller, Reggie Miller, the killer, Canary, back stiller.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Fresh vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hiller, get up. Crib Calabasas on the hill. I had him morning, plate. Beatles on the red carpet. Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homie rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Make it rain just to let you know. Tell her hater get up on my face. Yeah, I've been ballin' since like yesterday. Yeah.
The Titans are now on the clock.
All this money in the way. You know that I'm walking with the bang. Water, diamond on my ring. You know that I'm rockin' feel the blue. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain.
rain, just to let you know. Yeah, you cannot see me, the windows is tinted. Yeah, driving around right in that Bentley. Hey, you driving around right in that Bentley. Hey, but your shit, it just be rented. Yeah, but that is none of my business. Money won't stop me, go straight to the top. Believe it or not, just like getting the same. Yeah, she know I'm a rock star. Looking at my chain, on my diamonds right hard. Turned the way up, I ain't getting tired. And if you wanna race, then we gonna ride. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know. I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just
The Jets are now on the clock.
I'm a spray, make it rain just to let you know.
I come here today to talk about how I feel, and I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of us doesn't mean anything to me.
It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long. Yeah, it's just no way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting no one way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom, struggling my mama on the last dollar. Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
I just wanna see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you wanna make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion can't emancipate the fundamental principles. What I see through optics transform.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
I'm on the list and I've been on the mission. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was. Till they leave him lifeless. Another mama crying, it's another crisis. Lord knows we just trying to live righteous. Are you willing just to make the sacrifices? I know we can't continue living like this, and I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Minutes on the plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me? It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long. Yeah. It's just the way to deal.
The Browns are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
I've been fighting temptations, my Lord. I'm living on restless. I said, Lord, can you help me? I've never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. To be lucky you help me, well. I said, Lord, can you help me? I said, Lord, can you help me?
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
I said, Lord, can you help me?
The Bears are now on the clock.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Starts with a feeling, and you ride it right away. Crash it so the sparks can come together. Don't need a reason why the universe was made. It goes on and on and on and on forever. And it's a long flight on this ride.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
And there's a big bang in this universe, and it makes me feel like the go don't work. You got me like, ooh. You got me like, ah. You got me like, ah, and ooh. With all the things you do. Yeah, anything and everything I make you feel. Well, honey, I'm feeling with you. Baby, you're flashing, and I'm blinded by your light. I love the way that Jupiter is rising. You got me reacting like a lunatic tonight. I love
The Ravens are now on the clock.
the line. You got me like, ooh. You got me like, ah. You got me like, ah, and ooh. With all the things you do. Yeah, anything and everything I make you feel. Well, honey, I'm feeling with you. You got me like, ooh. I'm feeling you.
You make me feel like the world's spinning like a satellite. You make me feel like the sun is blasting out a ray of light, ray of light.
You got me like, ooh. You got me like, ah. You got me like, ah, and ooh. With all the things you do.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Honey, I'm feeling with you. Girl, you got me like, come on.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
You got me like, ooh. You got me like, ah. You got me like, ooh. I'm feeling you. Yeah, yeah. You got me like, yeah, 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 yeah. You got me like,
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Wanna come round there like a bad boy, do it. Want all the talking, go on and
The Mexico City Diablos are now on the clock.
don't do it. Devil on my shoulder, I don't lack. Get him with a business, I don't
The Texans are now on the clock.
see you right, but there's no
The Texans are now on the clock.
stand down. Never had a thing, never had a pound.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Now never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like yeah, Stone's gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them a calm, but you see my don there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You ain't ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up.
The Saints are now on the clock.
I was covering crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing, straight family thing. Dumb man, I bro, no salary thing. Had a young thing called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie thing. Hashtag Murky Academy thing. You were like art and the gallery thing. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, I'm too hot. I got money in my shoebox. I'm the man of the house when my show sold out like the brother from the boot.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I got magic, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Man, stress, so I'm bound to lap my slips. Wait, I'm bound to ride for flips. Real G's gonna.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Time to write at this. I never left my 9 to 5 for this waste man thing. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out, rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down at my mum's bit. Man, I'm getting way too big for my shelf. Man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for this. Should've looked after you.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flight, get a plane to Qatar. This year I learned how to take care of business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
How dare you to suck the truth?
Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit the back down. Then like everybody nowadays, Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now. I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show them how to act. Okay, now picture little Bobby, just a youngin' running around with his man's in his hand, feeling like a man. Run, put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seem like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Bills just made their pick. Adam, what can you tell us about him?
Scouts I've talked to expressed a great deal of frustration with his inconsistent play throughout the season, saying it made it near impossible to evaluate him in 11-on-11 situations. Even with this being said, there was significant interest in the big tight end, many believing that with the right coaching and confidence building, he could develop into a dominant player. This pick is a bit of a gamble, with the hope being a clean slate can help him exercise the demons that prevented him from reaching his full potential in college.
Like skin certified as a house. Go figure. In my blood is the venom master. It's like the devil playing space with the pastor, but he was born with the privilege.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
As a child, as a little boy playing with his toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap, like my great granddaddy didn't take a to the back. Not accepted by the ghetto. I don't give a praise God, I can see the light. Everybody talk about race this, race that. I wish I could erase that. Face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something. Everybody love, everybody know how it go. Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs something.
Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
One of this draft's toughest players, here's a guy who played the majority of his final collegiate season with a broken foot. Long suffering with...
Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show 'em how to act. I'ma show you. I'ma show 'em how to act.